Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today's question is, can I analyze the case of Sean Patrick Foley? Just a reminder, I'm not diagnosing anybody in this video, only speculating about what could be happening in a situation like this. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and consider supporting me on Patreon. I will put the link to Patreon in the description for this video. First, I'll look at the background of this case, move to the timeline of the crime, then offer my analysis. Sean Patrick Foley was born in the mid-1990s and lived in Tennessee. He spent about 9 months in the Army before being honorably discharged. Later, it was reported that the reason for his discharge may have been related to a potential personality disorder. Sometime around June 2018, Sean became romantically involved with a woman named Miranda Goddard. She worked as a clothing challenge dancer and made adults-only videos. Miranda claimed that Sean was featured in some of these videos, which means he knew about her line of work. I guess one could say that Sean had a Miranda warning. Other than allegedly helping Miranda with her video content, Sean did not have a job. The couple originally lived with Sean's brother, but due to financial problems, the couple moved in with Miranda's mother, Dawn McGinnis, and Dawn's husband, Jimmy Lynn Shelton. Dawn and Jimmy lived in a 3-bedroom, 1,700 square foot, single-story house on the 800 block of Beaver Drive in Maryville, Tennessee. This is about 17 miles south of Knoxville. Also residing in the house was Miranda's child from a different relationship, Miranda's sister Marissa, and Marissa's child. It sounds like it was pretty crowded in the house. Miranda and her stepfather, Jimmy, had a complicated history, and it is not exactly clear what happened between them. In 2009, Miranda had made accusations against Jimmy, suggesting that he had committed offenses against her related to sex. These offenses allegedly started when she was 12 or 13 years old. Later, Miranda withdrew her complaint. Jimmy was investigated, but no one was arrested. Now moving to the timeline of the crime. On August 27, 2018, Miranda purchased alcohol after being bailed out of jail. According to Sean, she had been arrested for failure to appear. That night and into the next day, August 28, 24-year-old Sean, 25-year-old Miranda, and 44-year-old Jimmy consumed alcohol at Jimmy's house, where they all lived. At 6:07 a.m., Sean called 911 and told the operator that Jimmy tried to attack his girlfriend. He said Jimmy charged at him, so he opened fire on Jimmy with a pistol. He discharged his weapon 7 or 8 times. Sean also told the operator that he was an Army veteran who had been honorably discharged, and he had a carry permit. The operator told Sean to put his pistol in a mailbox on the street in front of the house, which Sean did. When the police arrived, they encountered Miranda and Sean standing on Beaver Drive. Officers ordered them to the ground and took them into custody. In the mailbox, they found a Springfield Armory XD Mod 2 semi-automatic pistol chambered in .40 caliber S&W. The weapon belonged to Sean. On the back porch of Jimmy's house, the police found Dawn and Marissa attempting to render aid to Jimmy. He had been shot multiple times and did not survive. 8 spent .40 caliber S&W cases were found on the back porch. The police spoke to Sean. Here is the story that he supplied to them. On August 27 and into August 28, several people in the house were drinking. As Jimmy and Miranda talked on the back porch, Sean went into his room to play video games. Sean could hear them having a conversation and started recording audio with his phone. As it turns out, the two were talking about sex. Miranda wanted a car. Jimmy said, "I can take care of that." He was willing to pay Miranda for a video featuring her having sex with another woman. Miranda responded to Jimmy by saying, "I could arrange it. I can make it happen. Trust me, I'm about the money." At one point during this negotiation, Sean noticed that Miranda had a stressed look on her face. He claimed that Jimmy grabbed Miranda by her wrists. In response, Miranda tried to stand up. Jimmy reacted by grabbing Miranda by her hips, pulling her toward him, and lowering her pants. Sean made his way to the back porch to confront Jimmy and to save Miranda. When he walked outside, Jimmy pushed Miranda away, and Sean believed that Jimmy was reaching for a weapon. Sean said something to the effect of, "If you ever touch her again, I will drop you." Jimmy sprinted toward Sean and grabbed the slide of Sean's pistol. Sean managed to pull the pistol from Jimmy's grip and shot him multiple times. The audio recording that Sean made lasted for 22 minutes and ended with the shooting. Miranda initially told the police that Sean protected her, but later indicated that she was engaged in a consensual encounter with Jimmy. She said that she and Jimmy had been arranging sex for various forms of compensation since she was 19 years old. Miranda did not need to be protected and did not witness Jimmy charge at Sean. Sean was arrested for criminal homicide and later indicted for first-degree murder. Miranda was not charged with any crime, but it wasn't all good news for her. One thing was for certain, she was definitely not going to get that car. A week after going to jail, Sean was informed that Miranda was pregnant with his child. So it was an eventful week for him. There were a lot of new things happening in Sean's life. In August of 2019, Sean Foley went to trial. He was found not guilty of first-degree murder. The jury could not come to a unanimous verdict on the second-degree murder charge, and a mistrial was declared. There would not be a retrial. On November 7, 2019, Sean pleaded guilty to manslaughter, which is a Class C felony in Tennessee. He was sentenced to 5.5 years in prison and given credit for time served. In 2022, he was released and awarded custody of the daughter he had with Miranda. Sean married, had another daughter, and worked as an electrician. Now moving to my analysis. Supporters of Sean believed that he was not guilty of any crime, including manslaughter. They argued that killing Jimmy was justified because Jimmy was an awful person who was attacking an intoxicated woman. The state, of course, disagrees. They believe that Sean killed an unarmed man out of jealousy. Miranda was engaging in consensual activity. This brings me to the question, was Sean guilty of murder? Let's take a look at the evidence both for and against the idea that he was guilty, starting with the inculpatory factors. Prior to the shooting, Sean audio recorded the conversation between Jimmy and Miranda. He knew what was going on. It was extremely obvious what type of negotiation was taking place. Perhaps the discussion about sex led to Sean becoming jealous. Miranda claimed that Jimmy was not attacking her and did not pull her onto his lap. She did not need protection and was not calling for help. As soon as Sean stepped on the porch, Miranda pulled her pants up. This behavior is not consistent with Miranda being attacked. Rather, it looks like she was caught doing something inappropriate, something that Sean would not have appreciated because they were in a romantic relationship. Miranda repeated the word stop to Sean 6 times. Sean could have just walked away at this point. He could have taken Miranda's advice. Instead, he threatened to kill Jimmy before discharging his weapon. Sean claimed that Jimmy charged at him, but Miranda did not see this. Even if Jimmy did aggressively run toward Sean, Jimmy had been provoked. Again, Sean had threatened to kill him. Maybe Jimmy was just trying to protect himself from a jealous boyfriend. As far as the argument that Sean was justified because he had reason to believe that Jimmy was attacking Miranda, when Sean discharged his weapon, Miranda was not in contact with Jimmy. Even if Jimmy had attacked her, he wasn't attacking her at that moment. There was no danger to anyone. Sean was the person being dangerous. Moving to the exculpatory factors, even though Sean knew what was going on as far as the negotiations between Jimmy and Miranda, he may have misinterpreted the physical contact component. He could have genuinely believed that Miranda was in danger, especially considering how she was intoxicated. Maybe Jimmy was taking advantage of the situation. Sean's holster was found on the deck. It came out when he drew his weapon. This means that Sean did not have his weapon drawn before stepping onto the deck. He did not walk out there planning to kill anyone. Even though Miranda testified that she did not need protection, she initially told a different story, claiming that Sean protected her from Jimmy. When considering all the evidence in this case, do I think that Sean was guilty of murder? Yes. In my opinion, he was guilty of second-degree murder beyond a reasonable doubt. Sean was fortunate that a mistrial facilitated the opportunity to plead guilty to manslaughter. What do I think happened in this case? This is just a theory, my opinion. Jimmy and Miranda had a history of sexual contact, which may have started years earlier as criminal behavior on Jimmy's part. At the time of the shooting, however, everyone involved was a consenting adult. Miranda was highly experienced in making money through sex, and Jimmy was just another customer. When Sean heard Miranda negotiating with Jimmy, he became angry and jealous, but only went onto the back porch after physical contact was made. This is because he now felt justified in killing Jimmy. Sean wasn't planning on committing murder, but he felt secure in the idea that he could get away with it. Murder was now a viable option. At no point did Sean actually believe that Miranda was being attacked, and if he did, the threat was over before he discharged his weapon. Sean's claim that he believed Jimmy was going for a weapon is ridiculous. There was no reason to believe Jimmy had a weapon. The only possible argument that Sean could make was based on his claim that Jimmy charged at him. The problem here is that Sean provoked Jimmy by threatening to kill him. A man is not allowed to kill an attacker he provoked and then claim self-defense. Every possible justification to use lethal force that Sean claimed can be disproven. This is why I believe he was guilty of second-degree murder. Now moving to my final thoughts. Jimmy did not deserve to die, but he certainly put himself in a dangerous situation. His obituary said, quote, "He touched the hearts of everyone who was fortunate enough to know him," unquote. Ironically, one could argue that Jimmy died because he touched the parts of everyone who was unfortunate enough to know him. Jimmy did have one notable accomplishment. His death led to Sean being convicted of a felony, which means Sean cannot possess a firearm. Perhaps Jimmy saved someone else's life through his ill-advised, misguided, and repulsive behavior. Those are my thoughts on the case of Sean Patrick Foley. Please put any opinions and thoughts in the comments section. They consistently generate an interesting dialogue. As always, I hope you found my analysis of this topic to be informative. Thanks for watching.